A 57-year-old man has been arrested in a 1985 cold case. Pensacola police announced Daniel Wells is charged with homicide and battery in the case of Tanya Etheridge McKinley. Police say McKinley was killed on January 1st, 1985. Her body was found near Peacock Drive near Scenic Highway. They say she was strangled to death and had been Police say they used DNA to find a relative of Wells and created a family tree to track him.
I stayed with my dad for like about a year.
I was going to start this at the beginning, the recording thing, and I just realized I had not. But it's being recorded the whole time anyway. All right, well, I think we're going to end up jogging your memory on a lot of things from back then as we go through this. And so it has been a long time. I was a junior in high school in '85, and so there's a lot of things that are vague memories that, you know, I think back and I kind of get an idea we did something or we were here, but I don't remember all the details. Except for like the really important stuff, you know? And so I totally take that into account. I understand it's been 35 years. But hopefully as we talk more, you'll start remembering some of the stuff. It'll start coming back to you. All right? So this suspended DL is like financial responsibility, which basically means you probably didn't keep up with your insurance or you didn't pay for something. So that's why they suspended your driver's license, right?
Yeah, I would imagine
so. So that's pretty normal there. No other trouble?
Really? No.
Anything with the Stream County Sheriff's Office? You got arrested for like fighting, like a battery?
No. I've never had a battery, no.
Or been involved in a report? Or maybe an arrest for a battery that later on was like, never mind, it's not the way it seemed, and they just dropped charges?
No. I've never... I don't think so.
Okay. Anything to do with any prostitutions? Trying to solicit a prostitute? You have to know if I'm asking a question, something like that.
No, I'm thinking.
I think you remember if you got arrested for soliciting prostitution.
Yeah. I got pulled over one time in Brownsville, but I didn't get, I wasn't soliciting a prostitute. I don't know what they pulled me over for, and then they went through my vehicle.
But you got a charge for solicitation.
I don't remember. I don't think I did. No, because we talked out there on the street and stuff, and it was.
Didn't get a ticket, a notice to appear. Didn't get taken to jail.
I don't think so.
I mean, would you be surprised to say when I ran your criminal history, it showed both those charges? That you're arrested for battery?
Just trying to remember. Battery?
Yeah. And that you're arrested for
the battery.
And arrested for solicitation? Nothing at all?
Yeah. I remember talking to, but I didn't think I got arrested. I don't know.
Well, so here's the thing, Dan. So, I mean, you're like me, you're older, you're experienced. You got a lot of life experience and stuff. So, you gotta know we're not here because of today. Right? There's been a lot of work leading up to today. And I ask you questions because I'm giving you opportunities to clear some things up. And I'll ask you questions that I already know the answer to. But it's better if the answers come from you. And so it gives you that opportunity to explain it. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay? That there's a whole lot of work going on, a whole lot of knowledge, and we are not here by accident.
Right.
Okay? I'm sorry, Detective Harnett. Sergeant Harnett, you going to ask him something?
Well, I mean, you don't remember ever being in handcuffs at all?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about those times when you have been, like, detained and arrested in handcuffs?
I guess that was the time in Brownsville.
Okay.
You guess it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happened to you when they put you in handcuffs?
I guess we went downtown and I can't remember.
They take a picture, book you, fingerprint you, that stuff. So they did arrest you.
So I did, yeah.
So I mean, arrest is one of those things to where there's certain things in your life that cause trauma. Everybody's wired the same way.
Right.
if you're arrested, people, unless you've been arrested so many times where you just can't remember the volume, no, people will remember those things
Right.
because it's not a normal,
Right.
everyday occurrence. So, I mean, these are things that you would know. So you do remember that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other
It's
times that
something
you've
I just
been...
thought I didn't,
Do you remember anything about the fight or a fight that you might have had?
I don't remember about ever being in having a battery charge.
Okay. Any other charges that you can think of?
No.
The other times that you were put in handcuffs or anything like that?
No.
Again, some like the answers that we're looking for, we already kind of know the answers.
Right.
We've already said that we did run your history.
Mm-hmm.
So, was there something that you had in Kansas City
Yeah.
where you may have been arrested there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What was that for?
It was elude lascivious act, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think, or what?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was it just once?
Yeah, once there in I think in Liberty one time, Liberty, Missouri.
So it was one
Just
arrest.
exposed myself.
What was going on in your life then that
I just
brought that on?
hard times, to divorce, and just
Is that why you're going through the divorce?
no, it wasn't because it was just I don't know that, and I maybe drinking and stuff too had played a role in it, I'm sure.
You a heavy drinker back then?
Off and on.
Off and
yeah.
on. So what happened during that incident?
I just I went to court over it, and I went and did counseling for about 6 months, and that was that and probation for a year.
Well, so I mean, what the incident? So whatever you're doing, we're exposing yourself.
Well,
What was going
I
on?
I was coming back from a friend's house I was working on, and this woman did walk up on me. I was peeing off the side of my truck on a dumpster or whatever, and that was in Blue Springs. I can't remember the name of the little town. Anyway, but she made a comment to me about it, and I had been drinking and stuff, and I said something rude to her. So that went and escalated from that.
What do you mean escalated? Because a lewd and lascivious type thing is usually.
Right, I was exposed.
But you were just.
Right. No, I wasn't masturbating or anything like that. I was just.
Oh, so you were just peeing by a dumpster.
Yeah. And that was the one in it wasn't Lawson. It was outside of Liberty, Missouri.
So that one was those other incidents. What were these other incidents like?
And the other incident was I exposed myself to a lady in a parking lot, and after I
On purpose.
After been drinking, yeah.
That one wasn't.
That was
An accident.
That was.
Were you masturbating in that
mistake.
case?
Yeah, I just exposed myself.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
So what about the other cases?
That's the two in Missouri.
Not just the two that you got arrested for, because there's other cases. I mean, so here's the thing. So I know you got arrested, right?
Right.
And so when we're asking these questions, it's not always just what you got caught for,
Right.
right? Because when we contacted them, and the reports specifically state, this sounds like the same suspect in these other cases, and there's like 5. And now those victims chose, as many do, they didn't want to go through the court process, and they didn't want to have to go testify and stuff like that, but there's reports
Right.
that you've done this more than that
When I was in Missouri, yeah.
while you were in Missouri.
Right.
You did it multiple times.
Yeah. Independent.
And when was that?
That was in the 90s, probably 92 through 95 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. You're pretty close. I mean, and like I said, it's
Yeah.
been a while, but we're
Yeah.
talking cases in 98
Right.
and then again in 98. So what was going on in your life during those two, 90 and 1998, that trigger you to behave like this?
I don't know.
Even if it was just alcohol and that led to it.
Yeah.
There was something going on in 1990.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it a divorce? Was it just fighting? Or
Just a combination of that, maybe the way my childhood and stuff. I don't know. It's
What
just
year did you get divorced?
98, I believe it was.
okay.
The first time or second
The
time?
first time.
When did you get married?
In 93.
So
There was some
92, 92.
So you weren't married before that,
No.
when this all happened, and it like 91 and 89 and stuff.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So in 1990,
yeah.
you got some of this behavior in 1990 prior to you getting married.
Right.
Then you get married, you behave.
Yeah.
Then marriage starts falling apart in 1998, excuse me, and you go back to that behavior. But I mean, is that a fair statement?
Yeah. That sounds fair.
All right.
It's just being stupid. I don't know.
I
I don't know why.
Again, Dan, I just can't stress to you the importance of where we're at now. At the end of this investigation, that it's important for you to be as truthful as you can. I understand that you said you're trying, and that you're trying to be truthful and trying to remember stuff, but it seems like on some of this stuff already we're having to spoon feed you stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. Now that you're telling me you know about that, then I'll go ahead and tell you the truth.
Right.
And,
Well, I mean, I know you know.
and that's
It's just it's embarrassing.
well,
Dan, there's
That's
nothing
really-
that you
it's,
can
you know.
say that's going to embarrass us.
Well,
So-
it embarrasses me.
I've been here.
I'm
You're not gonna right. I understand embarrassing you, right? I've been doing this 30 years. He's somewhere around 27 years now doing this. A lot of our career has been spent up here in investigations. We have investigated the worst of the worst crimes that Pensacola has brought to us. So, like he said, you're not going to surprise us with anything. Okay, I understand your point of view that it's embarrassing to say that I did these things, but unfortunately, you're not in a spot right now where you're going to be hide behind that embarrassment.
right.
Okay, it's time for all that stuff to end. It's time to come clean and just be honest. Okay, because that's going to get you through all this.
Right.
Okay, it's just honesty. So when you're talking about you're exposing yourself, right? You were in the parking lot. How did you get the girl to approach you?
I just pulled up to where she was. She was just getting in her car.
But you're in a what vehicle?
I was in my truck.
Okay, so she's not going to be able to see you
No.
unless you stand up or something.
Right. Well, she walked up to the truck.
Why would she walk up to the truck?
I can't remember. I asked her something. And she came over, asked her for some directions or something. She walked up to
Exactly.
the truck.
See?
And then she saw me.
Right, very good. So that's basically, and I'm going to put it in law enforcement terms, okay? I know this may not jive with how your point of view on it is. From our point of view, what you did is you pulled up, you saw a lady, probably pretty, right? Targeted her.
And I'd been drinking.
You've been drinking,
So
right?
that's the only time I ever did that.
And then, so you said, you asked for direction to lure her over to your truck, right? And then you committed the act of masturbating in front of her. Why would you do that? I understand you were drinking, but I mean,
I don't know.
is it out of frustration? Do you think that seeing her reaction or her embarrassment or something like
No.
that was something that you were looking
no,
for?
I just think it was just for my own gratification. Just I don't know. It's just
Do you think it helped you sexually? It helped arouse you that you were going to do this?
just expose myself.
Yeah.
Maybe, perhaps. Yeah.
So there was a sexual aspect to doing it. It wasn't external. It wasn't that you were trying to hurt her.
No.
It was for yourself
Right,
to help you
right.
with like arousal and how you
I
felt
would- I would
sexually
say-
about it.
I would say that's yeah.
Okay. Did you use that story every time? Or did you use
No,
different stories?
That was just.
Again, that was the one that you got arrested on.
Mm-hmm.
But there was other cases.
Right.
Is it Independence near there?
Independence. Yeah.
And Blue Springs, you mentioned.
I used to live in Blue Springs.
But you
Oh,
mentioned
that
one of
is
those.
good
Is either Blue Springs
Yeah.
or Liberty when you said you were by the dumpster?
It was outside of Liberty. Yeah, that was up in Excelsior Springs.
Okay.
That was in there.
Is it Liberty County or is it Liberty City?
Liberty City.
Okay. But so there's the one time I guess accidentally because you're peeing. So what happened in Independence? My understanding that was another one where you were exposed, not just expose yourself, but you were masturbating.
I can't remember, but yeah, a guy had done something. I had pulled into a parking lot or whatever, and pulled up by somebody and exposed myself.
All right.
I guess I got, you know, like I said, it would give me a thrill to expose myself, as sick as it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, look.
But I just,
so,
I don't know.
Well,
I can't remember exactly where that was in Independence, but I know that it was in that town.
So Dan, part of what we're telling you that we've been here this long, okay, is that we're not judgmental. Right. Okay? We've had plenty of people sitting in that chair that have sometimes done the wrong thing for the right reason, have a multitude of life issues, family issues that contribute to them making bad decisions. Doesn't relinquish responsibility, but there's always a reason, right? Most people are just not cold-hearted and like to hurt people.
Right.
The majority of people don't. Now they do, but usually there's some kind of trigger. There's something going on. Like you said, you mentioned your family life and you mentioned alcohol, and those kind of things contribute to people making bad decisions. So when you talk about that stuff and how it's embarrassing and how it makes you look bad, we understand. We're not judging you, right? We understand that some guys need some kind of different stimulus, right? Doesn't mean they're a bad person. That just means they're a little bit different. We have heard plenty of stories of people that maybe you even know that are prominent in the community, and what goes on behind their closed doors is sometimes a little bit freaky. So we've heard those stories, and so we're not judging you. You're not a bad person for what you did, okay? We understand that.
We're also not hanging what you would perceive as your dirty laundry out for the consumption of the public. That's with us in this room. Follow me? Yeah. I have kind of a question. Like, when you look at that, what was happening there, and then we talked earlier about the prostitution thing that happened in Pensacola. Would you ever pick up prostitutes and masturbate in front of them?
No.
Was it just for sex then, or was it for so it wasn't for masturbation?
I never picked up a prostitute.
So you're saying the first time you went out looking for a prostitute, it just happened to be the police? The one time? The very first time you ever tried it?
I didn't even know that it was the police.
Well, if they arrested you for solicitation.
You know, they pulled, you know, I was over at a friend's house down on T Street. And
it's just unusual for someone the first time going out. And the thing is, this is one of those things where it happens, right? There's a reason that there's women out there right now trading sex for money, because there's men that do that on a normal basis. It's just the way that it is. Yeah. I'm not looking for an ideal society. I'm not ideal. I'm not perfect. No one in this room is. But I'm just kind of curious when you would, because it seems like if you got caught once, then you probably have done it before, whether it be here in St. Louis, where you may have picked up prostitutes. Yeah. I'm just curious as to whether you would.
No, I never have. I've been picked up prostitutes. Instead of that, I would just make contact with someone and or not even that. It was not. Some of them I wouldn't even. Actually, the time in Kansas, the first time when I got arrested, I'm not even sure that I really talked to someone then, because they had cameras. But
was that the one by the dumpster?
No, that was when I did talk to her. That was coming back from work, and I had been drinking beer and I had to pee, so I stopped. It was by an old hotel, and so I just pulled back there, and she was just out walking, and she walked by the dumpster, and she saw me. I exposed myself, and so then I guess she took my tag number down, and I wasn't being, trying to be lewd or anything, but she took my tag number down and called it in, so I got picked up for that. But in Shawnee, Kansas, that was like at a department store or something. And I can't really remember if if I actually got her attention or not, but I know there was cameras, so I got caught for that. And then over in Independence at one time, it was after I had separated from my girlfriend that I moved out there to be with, and that didn't. We just decided just to go our separate ways.
So you seem to have some life triggers that kind of set off this behavior. As long as your life's settled, you're in a good relationship, you're working, everything's going smooth, you can suppress those urges.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have ever since then, I've been suppressed. I mean, it's just been good since I wanted to move back home and be, close to the.
So how many times in Kansas was there ever times that maybe you pulled up in the parking lot, you were masturbating, but you didn't get the attention of the girl? You're like watching a girl.
Maybe half a dozen times. I didn't do it very often. So every time I did, I got caught. So
even if you didn't try to get their attention, you were just sitting in the parking lot watching them. You kind of using them as a stimulus, which is like a basic fantasy.
Right.
I mean, that's not that freaky. Right. Really, that's especially out of what we know, that's not that far all around.
But
But I do.
That's my own personal.
Right. I do go back to the prostitution arrest thing because not impossible by any means. Mm-hmm. But in our experience, hardly anybody gets caught the first time. And it makes sense because it costs you a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But a prostitute will let you do whatever. Whatever little freaky thing you got going on, most of them are like, hey, you give me $10, $20. They'll let you do it.
That was the first time.
So first time you ever tried to pick a prostitute and you got caught up in the police.
I mean, it happened. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to kind of remember. I just remember driving down the road, and all of a sudden, there were cops everywhere, and I just pulled over, and they, just started ransacking my truck.
Was a girl in the truck with you?
No.
Did you just talk to one?
I think I just talked to one down the street, and then I was gone. I was by myself.
You probably got caught up in the sting where they put out a police officer, but she looks like a hooker, and so once you make a statement, she'll tell you like, "Hey, go down around the corner. I'll meet you there."
I was going back to because I lived on Cervantes. I think that was about when that was.
But they wouldn't have come up.
I was just driving because I was over. I can't remember the guy's name, the house that I was at, but it was down off of T Street. And I just came back and I hit T Street, hit Cervantes, and.
Right now, you have a girlfriend or anybody? You're in a relationship with anybody? How long has it been since you've been in a relationship?
It's been a while. It's probably been about.
Since you've been back in Pensacola?
Yeah, at least, yeah. So Jennifer was my last one. Yeah, my wife.
You came back in 2009. That was after your divorce.
Right.
Since you've been back in Pensacola, had any relationships?
No, I've just been working.
Haven't been dating anybody?
Date and just fixing a little house and fixing it up. We got a little shop at my house. I stay busy.
Alcohol consumption?
A little bit. No hard liquor or anything like that. I drink a couple of beers in the evenings when I get home.
But nothing that's...
But nothing, just at the house and that's it.
So you haven't acted like this since you've been back in Pensacola?
No.
Mall parking lots or anything, watching girls?
No, I have not, no.
Nothing like
that.
that?
I don't have any interest. It's just, I don't know.
So, but you're good with your life right now?
Yeah, I'm very good with my life.
So you're happy not being in a relationship, you're happy working, having your house.
Right.
So that's good. So that way. How about before 1990, when you were here, before you moved to Missouri?
I had.
Do you have any kind of that? Well, you talked about your home life. You mentioned with your dad.
Just saying, we come from a broken home and stuff, and I had 4 older sisters, and of course Peggy was older, and she's always been gone and stuff, but college. But it was just my dad and myself and Milton.
Mm-hmm. So your sisters went with your mom?
They weren't. No, they were older. Okay. Polly moved up here, and Nan went to college, and Quincy went to a girls' school or something with her, and. Sewanee, Tennessee, I think, University of the South.
How much older are your sisters than you?
My youngest one is a year older than me, and then 63, 64, or 65. And Nan's 62, and then Polly, I think, is just turned 65. And Peggy.
Nan was born in 62? Or you're born in 62? I was
born in 62.
All right.
Yeah, so there's 5 years between us.
So she would have been born like in 57? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that's where I'm getting confused. So they're all born like in the 50s?
Oh, yeah, they're all in the 50s.
Okay, so the closest one to you is...
Well, Quincy was born in 60.
So she's about 2 years older than you. So, and you were how old when your parents got divorced?
Probably about 11.
Okay, so she would have been about 13. Mm-hmm. And then your mom moved. You all got separate houses. Did your mom move right away out of town? Mm-hmm. Was she not from here?
No, she was from Allentown, north of Milton.
But I mean, she wasn't from this, so she's from Allentown, but she moved to...
Canoe, Alabama, outside of Atmore.
Okay.
And then to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And
she had a family over there?
No, she went back to school.
LSU or one of them? Okay. Did the girls go with her?
No.
So...
She was by herself.
Okay, so when she moved out, the youngest sister...
Quincy, she went to a girls' school with my sister, went to college.
She was only about 13 then?
13 or 14, something like that, yeah. And she was in about
went to all-girls private school?
Yeah, and then she came back here and lived with my dad and myself.
Okay.
And finished school at Milton High School.
Okay. How's your relationship with your sisters?
Good. I mean, it's good. I haven't seen her in a while. They had a falling out with my mother. And
I'm talking about back then.
Oh, great. We had a great relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, we were like best friends.
And your dad?
Very good.
I just find it weird that you talk about, how, your home life, how you grew up. And I understand that there's a divorce and your mom left, but, I mean, it doesn't sound like
what
a lot of kids go through.
I guess it was just a normal life, but it was just growing up in Milton and stuff. There was, not a whole lot to do. And
it's kind of unusual for back then for the mother not to take the kids with her.
I know.
Were you mad at her?
No. I don't think I was mad at her.
Did you understand why they got divorced? I mean, you were pretty young, but still you would have had an inclination later on you'd figure out what was going on. Did they fight?
I just figured I never remember hearing them fighting too much and stuff.
Did she find somebody else?
Not that I know of. I mean, she was with someone after they split up, but I just guess she had to do what she wanted to do. They just didn't have a lot in common.
They had four kids, and how long were they married?
Yeah,
20 years? 25 years.
The reason I ask is I'm a dad. I have 2 daughters, and me and my wife were divorced, and my kids stay with me. And over years, they kind of started to become angry with their mom, which, I understood. I mean, it happens, but you never kind of felt that, didn't build any sort of...
No, because, I would see her. I was pretty close to my mom, even though she was gone. We would.
And for a while, she's not too far away.
Yeah. But we always, she was.
What about your dad? Were you upset with him over it, or?
No.
Okay.
There had to be something between the two. I understand you were 11, so you're not totally aware of everything that your parents are doing. And if your parents are like I was when I went through my divorce, we didn't talk about it with our kids. And much like him, when I got divorced, my ex left town, and I got my 2 girls, and I raised them. And it's the same thing. They were very angry with their mother, even when they've tried to reconcile with her, has not turned out well. But then their mother has a lot of issues, a lot of drinking issues and drug issues and stuff like that, which don't coincide with how I raised them. So that's not compatible.
Yeah, I can't remember having any ill feelings towards either one of them.
Anybody in your family have alcohol problems? Not saying that you do, but I mean, we've already established that can, at times, that gets in your way.
My mom drank, so that's where I got it from. But no one else does.
Your dad doesn't drink at all?
No. He was totally sober.
Okay. All right, so you graduate in 1981. You stay over there with your dad for a little bit. He moves over to West Florida. You move over here to 12th and Cervantes area.
Lee Street.
Lee Street and then 12th and Cervantes. So we established back in 1985, you were there about 12th and Cervantes.
Right.
All right. So on New Year's Eve, going from 1984 to 1985, remember what you were doing that night?
No.
What would you normally have done on the New Year's Eve during that time frame?
Maybe go out to Kevin's and La Playa or something like that on the beach. Or
You like to go out to the beach?
Used to go.
Is that where you normally hang out at? What bars? I mean, you work for Chan's.
Right.
But you did a KlLLER. Would you ever go to the bars?
Not very
In
often.
Gregory or on Davis?
Not downtown.
If you went out, you would go to...
Usually the beach. That's where I'd be.
When you stayed in town, where would you go?
When I stayed in town?
Yeah, if you didn't go to the beach, was there a bar or place in town you'd like to go to?
Ever go to Chan's?
What's that?
Chan's.
Chan's?
Yeah. You ever go to their bar? Since you worked for them, did you ever go
Well,
to
that
Chan's?
was that was over on at the University Mall. And
That's what I was asking, would you go there when you're off?
Well, after work, we'd go by and have after work drink.
There's Chan's there.
Chan's and then trying to think what that disco was.
Up there by University Mall?
No.
Or are you talking about Odyssey or 2001? Or that was
2001, that's what it was. Yeah, that's sort of like a Fairfield.
That was
Right.
Town and Country.
Yeah, Town and Country Plaza.
That's about it. That, and usually I was out at the beach or
There's
We're at the
Chan's there.
house.
There's like 3 bars around, restaurants
Yeah,
behind University Mall. Chan's.
There was the one at the
Daryl's.
hotel in Daryl's.
There's one.
But they were all kind of on the backside of University Mall back then. There was 3 there.
Do you remember a third one back there? You remember Daryl's and Chan's?
I don't remember Daryl's.
You don't remember Daryl's? In the very back
I
there.
remember Bennigan's
Bennigan's is the other place that's back there that I would go
Would
to every
be.
once in a while. And I'm talking now, it's like,
at University Mall. That's all.
I think the one was Coconuts.
I was
It
like-
Daryl's, Bennigan's, Coconuts.
I moved here in
Chan's.
88. So I graduated in 86. So I was 88 when I moved here. And that's where we go, Bennigan's or Daryl's or Chan's. So what would you normally do like on a New Year's Eve night? What would you picture yourself back then doing as a thing?
I don't,
Hanging out with friends,
yeah.
going to somebody's
Well, we always
house,
had
going
a
out?
group of people, yeah. I was never alone. Yeah.
So is there anything that's talking about, old times and stuff? Does that jog your memory about Elmcrest? About a house on Elmcrest?
No.
I
I rented a place. I'm just trying to think. I don't know. I don't know where Elmcrest is. Because I stayed with John Pendergast, maybe, and his sister. That was over on down by Tahar, their parents' house.
May I stay with
Oh,
them?
no. Yeah, well, John and I were friends. And
When you would go
we
out
rent
like,
a
on
house.
New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
because you're a young guy,
Mhm.
would you be out like looking for anybody, like company, a woman, or anything like that?
No. I mean, usually I was with a group of friends or
Never
whatever.
ever get lucky?
Did I get lucky?
Mhm.
Oh, man. Yeah, back in those days you could.
Hunting, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but I was usually out out of
Were you adverse to like one night stands?
occasionally, yeah.
Because I mean,
But
most,
normally you'd meet somebody and get to know them and
most guys are not
Yeah.
adverse that if you're at a bar and you strike a conversation with a girl and
Right.
she's willing, you're not going to turn it down.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Girls might, but guys usually don't. And so,
Yeah, I had a few one night stands. That's Halloween, I can remember. But that was out at Kevin's in La Playa. Because you could rent hotel rooms for winter rates or whatever. And I was working out at Woodcraft there too.
right, so that would put you closer to that.
For a week or two, with a couple of friends, we'd go to a place or whatever.
Still don't remember Elmcrest. What the
I
hell
don't
did
remember
they-
the address doesn't sound familiar. I mean the name. I don't know. I rented. I'm just trying to
And again, you don't.
John Pendergast and I had a little.
So you're fine.
Okay.
I mean, this would she would look like if she had gone out.
Yeah. I don't know her.
Don't know her at all.
No, I've never
Never
seen
had
her
contact
before.
with her?
Never.
Okay. Any idea what we're talking about yet?
No. I don't. I don't know what I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
All right, let's cut to chase. So that young lady I just showed you a picture of.
Right.
New Year's Eve, 1984, going 1985. January 1st, early morning, 1985.
Okay.
Was found dead on the side of a road. And I have the evidence that you're the one that's there.
Oh.
I have irrefutable evidence that you're there. I am not doing all this on a guess. I'm not doing all this.
I don't know.
On a hunch. Dan.
Yeah.
Telling you. You're there.
I wasn't there.
You watch TV? Some?
Yeah.
Watch any kind of crime shows or just news stories about crime or stuff like that?
Cold case files, anything like that?
No.
You know about DNA?
Yeah.
DNA is actually just as positive, if not more positive, fingerprints.
Right.
So, I can prove to literally 1 in 700 billion chances you were there. That's where we're at, Dan. I'm not asking you.
Right.
Okay? We're not asking you if you're there. Honestly.
I don't, it doesn't, it
Dan,
has been a
35 years.
Yeah.
It's been 35 years. This is the first time you've probably talked to the police about this. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Right? Have you noticed anything unusual for the last couple of weeks?
No.
Nobody around you looked unusual, seen a bunch of police cars for no reason? Nothing like that?
Felt like somebody was following you?
No.
No. Well, we have been.
The thing is that your DNA is at this site, right? On this person.
It is nobody else's except yours. There's no other explanation. Right? It can't be a possibility of somebody else's DNA. Your DNA is at this scene.
Dan, I get this is your life. This is probably freaking you out a little bit. Right? But listen to me. There's a story here, right? And either you can choose to give that story about what happened, the chain of events that led to what ultimately happened as to why we're here. And you have a part to play in that. If you don't, it starts to look pretty bad as to why you're not explaining it.
I don't
Do you
understand. I mean, I have never hurt anybody in my life. That's what's, I've had one-night stands and stuff before, but it's like...
Have you had a one-night stand with her before?
No, I don't know her. I'm telling you, I cannot recognize her. I don't know the name.
Dan?
It's like you went back to school days. I don't know.
The only reason you're not telling us that you know who she is because you're afraid that somehow we'll find out that you're responsible for her death. We already know that you are.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Just listen, right? This has been 35 years ago, right? This has been 35 years that you haven't had to face this, right? And all of a sudden, one day you're at work, you run your work day, everything's fine, you're on your way home, all of a sudden you get pulled over an hour later in this room and we're telling you this. It's a shock. And totally normal human behavior to be defensive about it. Nobody wants to admit. Much like you sat there for a while and didn't want to admit that you had exposed yourself and masturbated women. We had to go through this whole process where you're like, nope. Oh, well, yeah. Well, I did a little bit while I was peeing. And she said something, then I said something, and that was it. Oh, wait, no, there was another time. We went through that whole process with you, right?
Right.
We're starting it over again. But we're going to end up in the same place because we're not here by accident. I'm being honest with you. I don't really like playing games, right? We've been doing this way too long, and I'm going to give you the information that you deserve to have, right? So that you can make the right decision and tell your side of the story. Because I'm telling you, saying that you weren't there does not work. I can prove you were there. The question, the unknown is how it happened. What precipitated it? What were all the dynamics going on that led to that end result?
I can't answer that.
You not being there, it's not an acceptable answer because the evidence, the DNA, proves you were there without a doubt. This is going to make your world spin, right?
No, it just blows me away that, I mean, I don't
honestly,
understand. I'm really confused.
Well,
maybe
I'm a little bit confused too.
No, I mean, I don't know her. And I mean, I've never hurt anybody.
Dan, I can believe you don't know her. Maybe you didn't know her beforehand.
But I don't understand.
You certainly didn't know her after that night. You knew her that night. You knew her that night.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
I'll paint a little bit of this picture for you here, okay?
I mean, I've
asked you about Elmcrest.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
And so you're like, I don't know why.
The address doesn't.
I don't know why I said Elmcrest. I have no idea. I've got this there's a blank hole here where I don't understand why in 1985 I would have told the police that I lived on Elmcrest. I have no idea. That's what you've been saying. The problem is Elmcrest is like a half a mile away from where this happened. I don't consider that a coincidence. No. So now you don't remember living half a mile away or giving an address a half a mile away from where this happened. And now, even though I am telling you, just like I told you, you told the police down there you lived on Elmcrest. And now I'm telling you the DNA proves that you were there, and you're just, I don't remember. I don't know. And that's really not going to work for you. Because the scene, the evidence we have at the scene, paints a very ugly picture. This was not gentle. This was not an accident. And if you're going to let the evidence tell the story, it paints a very ugly picture. Your opportunity is to soften that, because we understand there are other dynamics that go on. We're open to the fact, because we've heard it time and time again. We don't go into anything with a closed mind, because there's been too many times we go in thinking one thing and we walk out thinking something totally different, because then we hear the other side of the story. That's how we operate from experience. But I'm going to be honest with you, right? Because that's all I can do with you. My profession forces me to be honest. So I can be honest with you. That the evidence tells me you were there. What it doesn't say is how everything happened. And then there's also the concern if there's other things going on. Just like you're like, well, there's one incident where I was like, oh, wait, there's one other incident where, I didn't masturbate. Oh, wait, there's another incident where I masturbated. There's that concern also.
Right.
But we all have to work with each other. We're here to work with you. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's all about, this is your side of the story. This is all about you.
Yeah.
And getting this out. But I can't put words in your mouth. I can't tell you what to say. You're the only one that can do that. And the problem is going to be if you start out, as you've already had on the little things, with denials and lies, it's going to dig your hole deeper. Because you're going to tell one lie, and as you've already seen, we're going to call you on it. And then you're going to tell another lie to cover up the first lie. And then another lie to cover up the first and second. And it keeps continuing. And every time you tell that lie, it digs your hole a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. And about 45 minutes from now, you're going to be sitting in that chair feeling like you're in a very deep, dark hole. And then you're going to want to get out. And it might be too late. Don't dig that hole that deep.
Yeah.
We're open. We're here to listen to your story. But I cannot be any more honest with you that you were there.
I just don't understand.
I mean, do you not believe me when I tell you that?
Do
you want to know how we know you were there? I told you we were following you? Because we need DNA, right? So we have DNA from the scene. Week and a half, 2 weeks ago now, on your way into work, you threw a cigarette butt out the window.
There's a way, actually, you're on your way up to a shop, I believe, on Palafox. And you're driving from the shop up Pace. And there may have been a police car behind you. And then all of a sudden that police car stops and blocks all traffic right behind you. You remember seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you did just before that?
No.
You threw your cigarette butt out the window. And I was in that police car.
And there's 2 FDLE agents right behind you.
And we picked up that cigarette butt and we submitted it. And it came back as a match. So we know that you were at this scene. That's not a debatable fact.
I'm just...
Yeah, you're blown away.
No, it's just, I know someone I had sex with or what, but I have never hurt anybody. That's what I'm saying. It's blowing me away.
There's a couple different ways to look at it. And the thing is this is why your input in this is critical, right? There's a way to look at this coupled with certain facts about your history. All right?
Right.
And just follow me on this. There's going to be people that can conclude certain things about what happened if your input isn't shared. That's why we want your input. It's not difficult to come to a conclusion based upon what happened in Brownsville with the prostitution thing, with what happened in St. Louis, specifically in St. Louis.
Kansas City.
Or Kansas City, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you pull up in a truck, you see an attractive woman, you call that person over to you, lure them, if you will, to engage in a sexual act. It's not a leap when you look at what happened here, that people to go, well, now we know what happened. He lured this person to his vehicle, he engaged in a sexual act, and took them. Okay? There's certain types of people that have done that in the past, and people have read about it, watched movies about it, all that stuff. So people are going to fantasize about this idea,
right.
This notion about you. To illustrate one, Ted Bundy. That's what he would do, right? So I'm not saying that you're Ted Bundy, but if you don't involve yourself in this process,
but do you see that?
I've never forced.
Do you see
sex
what
with him?
Do you understand what I'm laying out? How people could come to that conclusion, like because you've already lured women for sexual gratification without knowing them, strange women, right? Mm-hmm. For your gratification, and yet in this case, this one gets taken. Now, the circumstances of that, you would have input with.
Yeah, but I didn't take anybody.
So, on New Year's Eve, 1984 to 1985.
I don't remember.
Explain to me, then, Dan, explain to me how your DNA ends up with this girl.
I have, unless it was, I had sex with her or something, I don't know, a one-night stand or something like that. But after that, I don't, have any recollection of anything.
Why would you not have any? I mean, you lived in the area during this time, right?
I guess I did. I don't know.
1985. I mean, you lived in Pensacola,
here, yeah.
right?
Right.
This was a pretty big deal back then. It's in papers a lot. It's on the news.
I don't remember it.
So how?
I mean, I'm just.
How can your DNA end up with her?
Unless we had sex, that's the only reason. I don't know.
I'm not asking unless. I'm not asking you to theorize. I'm asking you to tell me because you were there. How did your DNA end up with this girl?
I was with her, I guess.
I don't want.
Yeah, I was with her.
I guess, and I'm not trying to.
But I don't remember her. I don't remember the name. The face means I don't remember her.
Yeah.
But if you're drinking and out partying or something like that, I mean, it happened pretty regularly.
So, would you think, like we talked about earlier, that there's, after 35 years, there's lots of things that are kind of vague in memories, except for the specific life events.
Oh.
Like in 1986, right? 1985, excuse me, when the space shuttle blew up. I know exactly where I was standing when I heard it, because that's a significant event in my life, right? So you got significant events in your life that you remember exactly where you were, what you were doing when they happened. Don't you think that if you had sex with a girl, you were out partying New Year's Eve, you met a girl, you picked her up, you were in the car, right? You had sex with her, and then the next morning on the news, you find out she's dead. You'd remember that.
I would, yeah. Yeah, I would remember it.
So that's the most...
But I mean, I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
That's the most innocent scenario I can give you.
Right. I don't... It's...
Do you think there was a time that you were, I mean, back then, were you drinking so much that you'd have a hard time?
I would remember. I don't forget. I mean, I've got a good memory.
Right. So you remember if you had sex with a girl the next day, she was on the newspaper dead. Even if you didn't know who she was. You'd remember the next day when they put her picture in the paper 2 days later, you go, oh my God, I was just having sex with her 2 nights ago on New Year's Eve.
I guess I would remember if I'd seen it.
I'm just trying to throw out some logical stuff there. Dan, I'm trying to help you out here. Because I'm telling you, the picture that this evidence paints is not one that you want to go out there without an explanation. There's room there to mitigate some of that evidence, right? There's room there to make it look better than it looks right now.
It looks horrible.
But I can't fill in the blanks for you.
Right.
I wasn't there. I was a junior in high school. And I was in Key West, Florida. I wasn't even here. So I can't fill in those blanks. You're the only one. Your son's in Arizona. 24 now. Stay in contact with him?
All the time.
Very good. That's hard to do sometimes. I got a son that's in the Air Force. Spent 2 years in Japan. Now he's in Biloxi, which is just 2.5 hours down the road. We have a good relationship, but we might not talk for 2 months. Right? There's times he doesn't, we're like, hey, you're just a couple hours down the road. Are you going to come by and visit sometime? Because it's easy to lose that when there's a distance. But you and Morgan still have a good relationship.
Yes, we have a great relationship.
Did you ever come here and visit? When was the last time you came here and visited?
About a year ago.
Did you ever go out there and visit?
I haven't been there since he's been there. He moved there from Kansas City. And
does his mom live out there?
She moved out there, yeah.
Okay.
She moved from Kansas City.
So we're not really talking so much, you haven't had a great relationship with your sisters for the last several years. Your mom and dad are passed.
Right.
You got an ex-wife.
Right.
Do you have a relationship with her? Or is it just like...
She calls.
Does she call you? Is it about Morgan, or is it just...
No. Well, I talked to her. We've got a great relationship with his mother.
Okay.
My second wife, she would call.
That's good, though.
Check on me, see how I'm doing, and
That's good. That's healthy. That's probably helped keep you level these last several years, right? That you and her can have a relationship so Morgan can grow up and not feel some of the same things that you kind of mentioned about your parents.
I've always had a good relationship with my ex-wife, with his mother, and even my second wife,
So what I don't think, and I don't... my only knowing you is the last hour or so that we have spent in here, right? I haven't known you before this. But you don't seem like a cold-hearted person.
I'm not. I mean, I don't...
So I would think it appears to me that you care what people think about you.
Yeah.
That's why you're embarrassed about the...
not really.
I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, I think we're all like, I'm not going to change who I am to satisfy people. But your image to Morgan, especially, what you do, how you look to Morgan is important because you're a good father, right? And you want to be a good father to him so that he grows up and is a better person than you are.
Right.
I think that's all our goals as parents. My kids, I want them to grow up be a better person than I am. And I'm sure that's what you want. I feel like you're the type of person who will want that from Morgan.
Well, sure. Yeah.
I'm telling you, very near future, right? When the story comes out and the details of this come out, if it goes out without an explanation of what happened, right? Your story of what happened, it is going to be clear to Morgan that you're responsible. And without an explanation on how it got to that point, he is going to be left to fill in those blanks just like we are. Something happened out of the ordinary. I don't think this was ordinary. I don't think this is something that happened to you a bunch of times. Something happened that night that let everything slide downhill.
No.
But you're the only one that can say it, Dan.
I can't. I mean, I'm right back where I was. I don't recognize her. I don't remember being with anybody on the evening of was it New Year's, you said? I don't know, but it very well could have happened. You know, it could have been whether it had sex or something. But I was with several friends. We would go out and stuff like that, you know. I mean, there'd be a group of us.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, sometimes we'd get, I mean, I can remember being at the beach and stuff, and you could just go in the parking lot and you'd have sex.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd go back in the bar. And 2 or 3 hours later, you'd go home or something, you know.
University Mall parking lot. A lot of people used to use that parking lot because it's a huge parking lot, lots of dark corners.
Right.
Did you ever use that place to have sex?
No.
Never had sex there.
Not in the parking lot, no.
But at the beach you would?
Well, not actually in the parking lot, but on the beach.
On the beach.
Yeah.
Ever pick anybody up from around University Mall?
No.
Would it be Chan's or any of the other bars up there, Bennigan's?
Not that I can remember. I mean, seriously, I mean, I don't. I'm being totally honest with you.
Yeah. Because you've always said back then you weren't doing the heavy, you know, stupid drinking.
No.
Right? So that would not be affecting your memory of remember what happened. You have a great memory, you said. Right?
Right.
So you're not being honest because I can't believe that you had a night where you had sex with a girl who ended up dead and you don't remember it.
I don't remember anybody being dead. I don't even remember the story about her that you told me.
But I'm telling you, you would have to remember because you were there. Your DNA is there. There is no saying you weren't there. I've seen a bunch of lab reports. Yours is 1 in 700 billion. It is you that is there.
Your DNA is on her, and it's at the scene. So you were not only with her, but you were there too.
I want to help you get through this, Dan. Because there's no avoiding it anymore. 35 years. It is here in front of you now.
Right.
You've
avoided
this day for 35 years.
You have two options. Either you've been afraid of this day coming for 35 years, you're wondering when you're going to get that knock at your door, when all this caught up to you. Or you really don't care. And I don't get that you're not a caring person.
I'm a very caring person.
Back in 85, the things that you left there that belonged to you, people weren't thinking of in the future, they're going to be able to catch me because of this. Well, it happened, right? And people have known about it now for 25 years. DNA has caught hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people. And it's caught up to them just like it just caught up to you. These are facts that we're dealing with. You're not here accidentally. You have a choice as to how this impacts you, right? You can share your story about the sequence of events that led to the ultimate end of this. If you don't choose to do that and you don't paint that picture, you're leaving other people to do that for you. And it's not flattering. Somebody who may not be an angel, right? Who may have some involvement in the outcome of their demise, right? They can't say what happened. But all they're going to see is this single mother with an 18-month-old son that was murdered. And they're going to see that you're responsible for it. Okay? How that happened and the chain of events that led to that, you know the answers. And it may be terrible. And if it's terrible, and you went there just like the picture that I painted, that you lured this girl, you knocked her out, you dragged her in your car, and you went over here to the secluded spot, and you murdered her, I get it. Maybe that case you don't want to tell me, because that doesn't help you. If there's something that happened, maybe you guys hit it off. Maybe your interaction with her was a positive. Maybe she's somebody that you picked up, and maybe this is somebody you're thinking, hey, maybe this is going to be someone that I can have a relationship with. And then things went horribly, horribly wrong, right? She may have some involvement in that. We don't know because she can't tell us.
Right.
The only person who can is you, and that's totally different. Those two scenarios are different. This guy's a monster, right? This guy's a monster. He needs to go away forever. We've been down this road before. It's never as simple as people like to sensationalize. It never is. I've worked 18 of these. Every story is different, and none of them, I would say, maybe one or two are monsters. The other ones are just regular people who got involved and caught up in bad situations that just escalated, got out of control and away from it, and they didn't know what to do. Yeah. And they made a mistake.
We have sat in this room with monsters. We don't, so we know.
Right.
And we're not feeling that with you.
I'm not a monster.
But you don't really want to control us.
No, but it's...
You control the narrative on this.
Yeah. I was with her and stuff, but I didn't give her a ride home. And there was a group of us. Oh, God. Because I guess she lived over in Santa Rosa County or something. But Bobby Hicks and a guy named Ralph James, they were with me. But there was a group of people that I went to school with that were there. And we did have sex in the parking lot. And other than that, well, no, actually, it was at the house, I guess, too. Yeah, because that's where John Pendergast lived.
Was that the house on Elmcrest?
I guess, yeah, that must have been Elmcrest.
So
That's the address I don't recall, but I would stay with him every now and then.
Was he out with you that night?
No, he wasn't. Those other guys, they were, and came by the house, and but they left with her.
Well, tell us what happened.
I had sex with her.
Where'd you meet her?
I guess I met her at one of those bars. I don't remember the name of the bar, but it was
where?
At University Mall. I don't know.
Was it Chance?
I wasn't at Chance. No, I can't remember. It was one of those bars. It wasn't Chance.
Was it a restaurant?
I can't recall if it was a restaurant and a bar.
Can?
Yeah.
So, be very careful, okay? Because, like we said before, you're minimizing, and I understand that you're doing a lot of I guesses. I think when in reality you know, right?
Right.
I can already tell by the way you're acting that you almost feel relieved that you're telling some of this stuff because it's been bothering you. We hit that. 35 years you've been waiting for this day, and it's here now.
Right.
And it's hard, but you're going to get it off your chest. But you got to do it the right way, which is you remember the details.
Yeah.
So just tell us what happened. Tell us the details of what happened, and then we'll work through you with it.
It's been a while.
Don't create details. Just
I'm not.
John, you don't. I mean, Dan, you don't have to go back and remember this. It's still there.
Right.
See, so when you're thinking, you're trying to think of the best way to present it so that it looks great for you.
Right.
And
no, it doesn't look great.
But you're trying to soften it, and I understand that, and we recognize that because we've done this for a very long time. But this is not the time to do that. You know, telling your wife while you were late, you know, that night because you went out drinking with your buddies or something, that's the time to try to soften it up. Well, you know, this and that. This is not the time to do that because those details are still very bright in your mind because this is one of those defining moments in your life.
The guy that the circumstances happened to him, this guy over here, at some point he's got to stop lying. The monster keeps lying.
Yeah.
He's going to throw bullshit out there. And you're going to try and throw bullshit at us. I get that. That happens all the time. It has to stop. I don't care if you've told us something that's not true. It doesn't reflect on what we're doing as long as we get to what actually happened, right? We've been through this hundreds of times with people. You've only been through this one time, right? You're at a disadvantage as far as that goes. We know what you're doing and how you're thinking. We've seen it thousands of times, right? You have some ability to craft your outcome, but you've got to be honest about what took place, right? You want people to understand what happened. If you're not that monster,
right,
you've got to explain your part in this.
And the thing is, like I've told you, we ask questions we know answers to. We have evidence. Not only your DNA, we have other evidence, right? So when you tell your story and we can counter it with evidence, it shows that you're not being honest, which reflects badly on you. Yeah. And we're going to call you out on it. So the best thing to do is just start at the beginning, tell the truth, exactly what happened. Because every time you say, I guess, or I think, it tells me that you're not being totally honest about that moment of the story. But there's no escape now except for the truth.
Right.
So just start at the beginning.
Okay. Well, I remember that her friends had left her, and she wanted a ride home. And but we went by my house, and we had a few drinks and stuff, and it just escalated from that. She I think I hit her in the head, and it knocked her out. And it was a traumatic blow, and it killed her.
What happened that made it get out of control?
I think we just got in kind of an argument over something. I can't remember what it was.
Was it about having sex?
No, she was willing to. Then Ralph and those guys, they stopped by for a while, and then they left. And
were you having sex with her?
I had before, yeah.
And then she tried to withdraw it, and that's what led to it. So, like in the middle of it, did she want to stop?
We had consensual sex and stuff, and then
What happened to make things get out of hand, though?
Was it something she said?
I don't.
I mean, can we be real here? Did she comment on your sexual performance or something?
No,
Was it good?
It was. But it was.
Did she want to leave and you didn't want to leave yet?
Something like that.
Here we go
I don't remember.
Dan, here we go again. We're trying to give you escape routes.
I can't remember. I just know.
When you're the one that was there.
Right.
So let's do something simple. You said you hit her in the head.
Yeah.
What'd you hit her in the head with?
I think it was a cutting board.
A cutting board?
Yeah, like a wooden block.
Wooden block cutting board?
Yeah.
At your house?
The one on Elmcrest?
I guess, yeah.
So you were just staying up there with Pendergrass? And that's where this happened at?
Was anyone else there?
I mean, earlier there were some
so you
guys
say,
there, but then it was later on in the evening and stuff like that. And,
so Bobby and Ralph came over there while you were there with her? Yeah. Had you already had sex with her then?
Yeah, once.
Once.
And then, yeah, we were.
So then they came over, they hung out for a little bit with y'all, had some drinks, and then they left.
Right.
And then you
we
said y'all
got
had
kind of into a little bit of an argument or whatever, and from drinking and stuff, and it just kind of got out of hand.
So I'm thinking cutting board, you're in the kitchen arguing?
I was standing in the kitchen, and yeah, and she was.
You had sex in the bedroom, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you said once, so there was a second time. Was it after you hit her?
Yes, it was.
So you hit her. You said it was a fatal blow. She was unconscious at least.
Right.
So then you had sex with her a second time while she was unconscious?
Well, not really sex. I didn't. No.
You tried?
We had sex. I did. Then it was like I couldn't believe what had happened, and I couldn't get her to respond.
So you stopped?
I didn't know what to do. Yeah.
So what'd you do then?
I think I just took her down the road.
You think?
I took her down the road.
And what?
In my vehicle. And
which vehicle?
I don't know what I was driving then. I think it was my Ford. I think it was my truck. Pickup truck.
The same 150 that you got the ticket in South Florida?
I don't know if I had that truck down there.
Okay.
That was a company truck.
Okay. So you think you had a pickup truck?
Yeah.
Where'd you put her?
Just on the side of the road.
I mean, in the truck. Bed, cab?
Passenger seat.
Did she wake up at all?
No. I checked her pulse and all that stuff, and I just freaked out. Man.
Before or after you left her body?
Before.
How did you eventually kill her?
I think it's strangulation, and I don't know, we were getting into it. We got a big fight.
Okay. Where was she at when you strangled her? Was it on the place where you brought her to, or was it at the house?
It was at the house.
What'd you use?
Just my hands.
Now, you said that you had sex with her a second time after she was hurt?
No, I didn't.
I'm just trying to piece together the reason
right.
why
We were going to have sex again, and we didn't, and we kind of got into it a little bit.
So it was over wanting to have sex?
She slapped me, and so I don't know, I was just pissed, and I hit her with it.
There's indications that the sex would have happened after she's unconscious too. So did you have sex with her after you hit her?
You said yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
I guess, yeah.
So she wasn't a willing participant in that. No. But that's what the argument was about that led to that.
The second time. Yeah.
But then you realized she really was unconscious.
Right, and it's like, oh my God.
So you kind of lost interest at that point, which was kind of normal.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of made me think that maybe the argument was that you wanted sex again and she didn't want to. That led to the argument, that led to her slapping you, that led to you hitting her in the head, and then you had sex with her again. Did the strangulation occur after that sex or before?
Before?
Yeah. So hit her in the head, she goes out.
Right.
You strangle her.
Right.
Right. And then you have sex with her again, at least partially. You try.
Yeah.
You're trying to have sex with her again, and you realize, oh shit, she's really hurt.
Yeah.
Take her out, you put her in a truck, you drive around.
Yeah.
And pushed her out and dumped her on the side of the road.
Yeah, like a bag of trash, man.
How about her?
I can't believe it.
Does she have any other belongings with her?
Yeah.
Did she have a purse?
I think so. I don't know if she had a purse or not. She might have had.
Shoes?
I'm sure.
What'd you do with those?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember.
When you had sex with her at the house in Elmcrest the second time, was it all in the kitchen where the cutting board was? Or did you bring her back into the bedroom?
I think it was back in the bedroom.
What'd you do about the blood? In the house? I mean, you cracked her in the head. She had head wounds bleed.
Yeah. I don't know, I just tried to clean up.
Was your buddy Pendergrass at his house? He wasn't there, though? Where was he at?
Out, I guess. He was out for the night.
She's still out for the night. What time frame do you think you're talking about now?
Early morning, I would say.
Like
1 o'clock or something. I can't. Yeah, I mean, it was New Year's Eve.
Where had you been before that?
I couldn't tell you.
You just ended up at the restaurant behind University Mall.
Mm-hmm.
But there by yourself. You're at that restaurant.
There's a group of people there that were.
Who else was there with you?
This guy named Ralph James.
Ralph James.
And
Bobby.
Yeah, and Bobby Hicks.
They were both at the bar where you met this girl?
They were there, yeah. I saw them there.
Did you ever tell them what happened? They came back by the house after you took her home. Then they stopped by before the fight happened. And then they left. You want to have sex a second time. There's an argument. Afterwards, did they see this?
No, they were gone.
But did they see this in the paper and go to you?
I
and
never heard anything about it. Not from them.
When you saw it in the paper, what happened? I mean, you had to have been looking for it.
You looked.
Yeah. I just saw it and I couldn't believe it.
How was your life in the months leading after this?
Not good.
Were you freaking out the whole time?
I was just blown away.
Did you ever want to tell on yourself?
Yeah, numerous times.
There was somebody that actually made a phone call that was trying to take responsibility for this, right? They couldn't get it all out. It seemed like they were struggling. Do you remember making a phone call to somebody?
No.
Not about this?
No.
Writing a letter or anything?
Never.
Did you ever tell anybody?
Never. I've always kept it to myself. And just in denial and just unbelievable because sometimes I would think that it was just like a dream or something. It's like, because I've never hurt anybody before. I mean, even growing up, fighting in school and stuff like that. It's just not my nature. I come from a great background, family.
What was different that night?
I don't know. I have no idea. It was.
I mean,
it could have been alcohol, could have been cocaine, too. Those were cocaine days back in, and yeah. And
you were doing coke
for about a year, off and on, and it was about that period, a year, maybe a couple of years. The guy that I rented the house from over on Cervantes and 12th, he's in that Susie Lisco that I lived with. That they are the ones that got me and turned me on to it when I first started doing it. I knew it was bad when I did it. And, it was just bad stuff, and it alters your sex drive and everything, I guess. And it's like, I
made you more aggressive.
Well, I was never aggressive about it, and it's just that one night, and I just don't understand it.
I can believe you, right?
It's the truth. That is 100% truth.
I can believe you that you are not normally an aggressive, violent guy. But that's why I'm asking what happened that night that set it off.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of what she could have said or done except slap you.
Yeah.
That evoked that response from you. Yeah. And then for you to do the things that you did afterwards.
Well, yeah,
I
aggressively, I hit her and not just wanting to hurt her or anything, but I hit her, and I realized I had hurt her bad, and I knew she was.
But then you strangled her afterwards.
And it's like I just wanted it to be over with, and I realized, what have I done?
Was it a particular type of sex that you wanted to have
No,
that she wasn't willing to have?
It was straight sex. It was just that, and then cocaine and drinking and.
In the autopsy, they found indications of anal sex on top of vaginal sex. So was it possible that...
I don't recall that. I don't.
That's not something you would be into, or...
No.
So what we're saying is you had sex with her, it was consensual.
And then
afterwards there's a fight. And so, I mean, was there a fight? Was there a struggle? And then at the end of it, she's got several injuries that don't indicate it's like a quick, I'm arguing, I slap you, I get hit in the head.
Yeah, no, I just remember hitting her over the head,
and then
and then the strangulation. That's just as far as any violence
with your hands. Because there's some indications that it wasn't your hands. Hands kind of leave a distinct mark.
And I guess it's been a long time.
Yeah, but this is a pretty significant moment in your life.
I don't remember, but I've put this out of my...
Yeah,
I don't know if I used a belt or something, maybe. I don't know I don't know.
So just tell me right now, and we'll work on this some more. We're really good at memory recall stuff. So at this moment, what do you remember for sure?
I just remember having sex with her, doing a little more partying, and getting into it a little bit, and she was ready to go, and I was going to give her a ride back over to Avalon or wherever she was from, where she lived, and I wasn't responding quick enough for whatever I remember, but I remember she hit me, and I just retaliated. I had that cutting board in my hand, and I just hit her on top of the head.
And she went down on the ground.
Yeah.
Then you did. You strangled her.
Yeah.
Which you're not really sure how.
No, I can't remember. I just know it was with my hands or something. I don't remember.
And then is that when you brought her back into the bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
Or was she already there when you strangled her?
No, that's where I dragged her back down there.
Then you tried to have sex with her again.
So I just strangled her. Yeah, I realized I just wanted it to be over.
You put her in your truck.
Mm-hmm.
Drove her around. Put her out.
Drove down.
Did you drop anything else out there with her?
Not that I can remember.
This is where I might be able to fill in some blanks with you, but
I don't
listen. So I don't want to put any words in your mouth. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you some things that are known.
Okay.
All right, and then see if that jogs your memory. Okay. So next to her body, there's a towel.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
No.
It's a bath towel. It's got her blood on it, and it's got DNA from you on it.
I don't remember.
But it ended up. But it comes from that house to being dropped out there with her.
Okay.
After she hit her in the head, and you're strangling her, you're gonna have blood on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember cleaning up?
I'm sure I washed off.
So I'm seeing is, so you got this brief moment of rage.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Been drinking, been doing some coke. You're not quite ready to go. You're hemming and hawing. She's getting mad at you. She slaps you. That kind of sets you off.
Mm-hmm.
Crack her in the head with a board.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize it's something serious, so you strangle her because you want it to be over with. And then, because you're still in that rage mode, right, you start having sex with her again. But somewhere in there, you come back to reality.
Right, instantly, yeah. It was like, what, this is,
Right. So you start having sex with her, you come back to reality like, oh, what have I done? Do you try to give her any aid then?
Yeah, when I hit her, I did. It just knocked her right out, and she just was non-responsive at all. And I checked her for breathing and this and that, and she just, I must have hit her hard.
But then you strangled her.
I strangled her.
So you had to know at some point after you hit her with the board that she's still alive. What happened to tell you that she was still alive? Did she come to?
No. She just.
Did she make noises?
She just gargling.
But you knew it was bad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I knew it was bad.
But you strangled her just to go ahead and end it.
Right.
Out of your rage. We're still talking this little probably several minutes of you're basically out of your mind with rage.
Right.
So you go from, you hit her in the head, you check her, this is really bad, so I need to end it.
Right.
So that she doesn't tell on you.
Right.
But now that you've ended it, then we're going to take her to the bedroom, start having sex with her, and that's when everything starts kind of going, that rage starts to fade. And you get into the, oh my God, what have I done?
Right.
Are you sure you didn't strangle her after you had sex with her again?
No.
Either way, the 2 times. So the 2 times y'all had sex that night, or 1.5, because you had consensual sex.
Right.
And then you had sex after she was unconscious, but not fully.
Right.
Realize, oh shit, this is a bad situation.
Right.
Right. But she's gone.
Right.
You already know she's gone. You strangled her. So, do you grab a towel to try to stop the bleeding?
Something, yeah. I can't remember.
Okay.
I cannot remember. I just know
her purse and her shoes are not at the scene.
Okay. I don't remember what I did with them.
You think you're just that freaked out that everything's going on?
I have no idea.
Means we have them.
Okay. I don't know what I did with them. I put
You don't
them
know
in a
where it was that we
dumpster
would
or
have
what.
found them?
No.
Would it sound reasonable to you that you drove away from that scene and then threw her shoes and purse out your truck window?
Could have very well. I don't recall it, but it could have happened, yes.
Okay. See, so that's what I'm talking about. There's certain things I can believe that in that situation, after what just happened, your memory might not be totally clear on what you did afterwards. But those moments of that fight and what happened right then are going to be burned in your memory because that is such a significant event. All right? So you see, we know what we're talking about.
Right.
Okay?
It's like little traumas that happened in your life. Like I can remember traumas that happened to me when I was in my adolescence, 5 years old. And it's clear as day. Everything around that, can't remember any of it. But that incident and those moments scar you. And you don't forget them. You can't forget them. You know? And we understand it. Your brain is wired just like ours is. Just like everyone else who sits in that chair. Some people try to hide behind, well, I had a blackout because I was drinking. You didn't do that. But some people try that. Well, we know that doesn't happen, right? That's just a coping mechanism to hide what took place. But the incidents that took place during that traumatic event, you're going to know. You're going to know regardless whether or not you were drinking or not. I mean, when people are saying, well, I blacked out, it's because they're unconscious. If they're physically doing things, they're going to remember those things that they're doing, regardless of their inebriated state or not. Like I said, you're not doing that, but I know your brain works just like ours.
I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to go back. It's going to seem like it's inconsequential to you, but it's an important piece of the puzzle. Okay? So you were staying with John for a few months, he said, living there. Did he have any pets?
Yeah, he had a yellow Labrador, I think.
Remember what color?
Blonde, a golden lab.
Golden lab? Is that the only thing you had?
And might have a black lab too.
You had a black lab too?
so.
Have you talked to any of these guys since you've come back?
I haven't talked to them for 30 years.
And none of these guys ever came back to you after this happened? Like, hey, you were with that chick the other night?
So only people that would have seen you with her that night are Bobby Hicks and Ralph James. Who else was at Daryl's?
If they even remembered. If they would even remember.
But they were there, right? So just say they've got great memories.
Yeah.
They're the only other ones that know you were even with her that night. How about at the bar? You said there's a group of people.
With just people that I didn't know, because there were so many people there. It was just packed.
But I mean, with you.
Yeah. No, I went there alone. I went there alone. They were there. And
Bobby and Ralph were already there.
Yeah, several other people.
And there's a bunch of other people. So you went there alone. You didn't know they were there. This is before cell phones and stuff.
I wasn't even there long.
Start talking to her.
Yeah.
She needs a ride. You go back to Pendergrass' house where you're staying.
Was she expecting you to bring her back to Pendergrass' house?
No, she wanted to ride home
to Avalon
or whatever.
What did she say when you took her to your...
She wanted to go to the house.
She wanted to go to the house, and then after that,
just go by the house and have
party for a while.
For a little bit, and then...
Did you do any coke at the house?
I think so. Yeah, I did.
Did she bring it, or did you have it?
I had it.
Was she excited about using cocaine?
Did she use it with you?
I think she did, yeah. Sure.
Did she?
Well, no, she didn't.
Did she drink very much?
I don't think so. Not too terribly much.
Right. So she drank a little bit. Any weed?
I don't think we smoked any pot.
Okay. So you did some coke that you had. She drank a little bit. Y'all had consensual sex. Keep hanging out. Two guys come over. Bobby and Ralph come over for a little bit. How long do you think they stayed?
Not long. Half an hour, 45 minutes.
Believe she wants to go back home.
Yeah, and then they left. It was early in the morning. I believe it was.
Where'd you go afterwards? You dropped her body off?
Came back to Pendergrass.
Do you know which way you would have gone? But again, I'm talking about like some of her stuff was thrown out in a couple different places.
I don't know. I don't remember where I went when I left.
You
I
don't
just
remember?
ended up coming back there.
So the towel kind of bothers me. Because I can see where you would have cleaned up your hands because you probably would have blood on them. Right? You obviously cleaned up yourself because your semen's on the towel. Right? But then when you take her and put her in a truck, why take the towel?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I mean, look what happened.
Unless you were like...
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't... I mean, it was...
When you hurt her, when you hit her in the head, did you put anything over her head to keep her from bleeding? Because you're moving her into your room.
No.
Was your mattress covered in blood?
She was standing right there. She was standing by the couch or something. And I just hit her, struck her, and she fell down on the floor, and I took her into the bedroom. And I didn't even think about, no. I don't think I put anything over her.
You didn't try to help her or anything?
No,
How about, well, I mean, you checked her pulse or you checked her breathing, it was bad, so you realized it was that bad and you went ahead and finished her. Put it in your truck, would you maybe taken the towel to keep the blood from getting in your truck?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I took it.
Dan, if you honestly don't remember, I'm okay with that.
I promise you, I don't remember.
But it sounds like, I think that's the only part now that kind of bothers me. Obviously, the towel came from there. It's got you on your DNA. It's got her blood on it. You're coming from the house, so it obviously came from there. So why did it leave the house and then you drop it off with her?
I don't know. That's stupid. I don't know.
I mean, it's stupid if you're trying not to get caught, you know? But most time, even in those panic moments, people are doing things for a reason. And so I'm trying to fit that into the story. What's the reason for taking the towel from the house?
I can't.
So when you dropped her off beside the road, how'd you do that?
I just pulled off to the side of the road and got out and put her out and just put her on the side of the street.
So you got out of the car, walked around to the passenger side, opened the door, just yank her out.
I took her out and just set her down on the ground.
Left her pretty much how you left the house. Do you remember what that looked like?
I have no idea.
Do you remember what she was wearing that night?
No. I do not.
You don't remember what she looked like when you left her on the side of the road?
I don't know. A dress or I don't. I really don't.
That's how you left her. Is that consistent with what you remember?
Yeah. I don't remember what she looked like, but I remember I took her out of the car.
Did you recognize her other pictures when I showed them to you?
No, I did not.
You really did not even know her?
I did not know. No. I don't remember.
It's just a girl you picked up in the bar.
Yes, sir.
Wrong night, wrong time.
Yes, sir.
You didn't know her from school?
No.
You guys went to school together?
No. I don't remember her. I do not know her from high school. She must, if she was older or what, I don't know. I do not know her from school. It's the first time I've ever seen her.
You didn't anything thirsty or?
Yeah, I'd love some water, please.
Want some water, soda, coffee?
Water, please.
Okay. You gonna be okay sitting here for a minute? We're gonna go get some water. We need to regroup on a few things. And we'll come back. You be okay? Do you want me to have another detective come and sit with you?
No, I'm fine.
Sure.
I can't use my phone again.
No, not right now. We'll discuss some of those details later in a little bit about your phone calls and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll certainly, help you out with that.
Just water. I mean, not great. I understand that.
I'm relieved.
You're relieved? But, that tells me something about you, that you're relieved. So this is something that, like he explained, not being a monster. Sometimes shit just happens. And it's unfortunate.
It shouldn't have happened.
No. No, it shouldn't have had.
I mean, it's not my nature.
You're human, right? There's nothing different about you than any other human. Humans sometimes do terrible things.
I should have not continued on. I mean, we shoved each other and stuff, and I knew she was hurt, and I should have just.
Yes. Yes, you should have.
Yeah, that's my nature, and I've always been that way.
This has been, I know for you, very emotional. We're bringing back a lot of stuff, right? So it's difficult. And like we talked about, you a long time ago, you had done some coke, and stuff like that. So we're pulling, and the story kind of came out in some bits and pieces. It's understandable. So we're trying to make sure we have a true understanding of the order of events and what happened. Okay, and we probably need to go over a few more things just to try to explain it as best that you can, with the 35 years in between and stuff like that. So, bar, meet her, she wants to leave, she wants to go to your house. where you're staying on Elmcrest with Pendergrass. Y'all have sex. Then afterwards, Bobby and Ralph come over for a little bit. They leave.
They're not there long.
Right. She wants to leave. You're having a haunt about it. Were you trying to get her to have sex again? Were you trying to talk her into it?
Yeah.
Okay. So she wants to leave. You want to have sex again?
She was because they were gonna offer to take her home, so she didn't want to go with them and stuff. So I said, and they left because they live somewhere in Milton. I don't know. And it's just she stayed.
Did she know them?
No.
Okay. So
I don't think she didn't know me until we just met. It was like it's a coincidence that she went to school a year or two before me, because I don't know when she graduated or what. I never had seen her before until that night. I did not know her.
So they offered her to give her a ride, but she didn't want to go with them.
Right.
So
we just stayed for a little bit longer. We just stayed at the house a little bit longer, and then
you wanted to have sex again.
Yeah. And
she didn't want to.
Yeah.
She was ready to go.
So we're getting ready to go, and
did she get dressed again?
Huh?
She was obviously dressed since your friends had already come over.
Yeah.
So her clothes are all together. She's got her pantyhose on and all that.
She got redressed, pulled her pantyhose on, had her dress back on. Right. So then the argument happens.
Right. And I just forced it was forceful. And I realized what I'd done. And I just...
Did you...
Well, so this is where we're trying to make sure we had a full understanding. I don't think we're both on the same page. I think we kind of heard two different things. And we went over a couple times. That's why we want to make sure we're clear on it.
And if our understanding is wrong, correct us. Right.
That's all we're about. We want to get this right.
Right.
Okay? Whatever the truth is, that's where we want to be.
But I struck her. And
you hit her with the cutting board.
I struck her, and then,
Did you have sex with her after you struck her?
Started to, did not.
Okay. And then strangled her? Or was it strangled, then had sex with her?
It was after strangulation.
So you didn't have, after you hit her, it wasn't hit, then sex?
I knew that she was hurt, and I knew that it was bad, and so I strangled her.
Okay. Where were you at in relation to her when you were strangling her? Were you in front of her or behind her?
I think I was on top of her. I think she was in front of me. I know it sounds like I should remember, but I don't. I can't. I mean, I know we were on the floor. I think I was probably on top of her.
Were you clothed?
I think so. Or partially clothed. I don't know.
That's what we're thinking two different things, because I think you said it two different ways.
Yeah.
And that's why we want to make sure it's right.
Something that I have tried not to remember. So I have done a good
job of not remembering it?
Yeah.
So if you hit her, so you want to have sex, you're having an argument.
Right.
But she wants to leave. Then you get mad. She slaps you. You get mad. You hit her in the head.
Right.
She goes down.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to figure out. If at that point you're like, now this is when we're going to. Now I've knocked you out, so we're going to start having sex.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then you realize during that.
It was.
Oh, well, that was worse.
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize. Yeah.
So then you went ahead and finished her off by strangling her. And then that was it.
Done. I was.
Or because I think before, like you kind of just said, it was you hit her, then you strangled her, and then you tried to have sex with her. Basically, after she was dead.
Yeah.
So we're both.
It was the thought, but I couldn't do it. I mean.
Right. Well, I mean, you tried, but you didn't.
Yeah, I think.
But when that happened,
I hit her in the head, and then I choked her.
Okay.
Did you try to insert your penis in her again after that?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
So your pants were down?
Yes.
Were your pants down when you hit her initially?
No.
Okay. So after you struck her and then strangled her, then you tried to have sex with her? Did you succeed at all?
No.
You started to, but just realized it started to come on you. That's what you had done.
And the argument was about she wanting to go home and you wanting to have sex with her again?
Yeah, it was late and we were drunk. I was drunk. I don't know how drunk she was. But,
so here's, and I told you I'll be honest with you when there was stuff that we know stuff. Evidence tells us things. And there's one thing about that version of your story right now that's not quite fitting the evidence. Okay, so we talked about that towel, right? The towel came from that house,
right?
All right. Obviously, because he had the dogs, the animals, there's black dog hair on her, right? It's on that towel, but it's also in her mouth, which leads me to believe that towel or something was pushed in her mouth at some point. So that would go back to you hit her in the head, started trying to have sex with her, then she woke up, something started yelling, you used the towel to make her quiet.
Very well could have. I don't remember.
And then realized, hey, I'm going to have to do something, and then you strangled her. That would explain some of the evidence. But again,
that could very well have happened.
Dan, I want to be very clear. I am not trying to put words in your mouth. Right. I am telling you what the evidence looks like, and if it's not right, tell me it's not right, and then try to explain it.
I can't tell you what.
Okay.
The towel.
The other thing along with that is that her. Obviously, after you had sex with her consensually the first time, she gets dressed, her pantyhose are back on, right? They're taken off, right? And then on that towel, the towel with her blood on it, where you would have cleaned up your hands, presumably. There's also your semen on as if you wiped yourself off. And that would have made sense the second time, not necessarily the first time, because it's the same towel that when she's injured. Right. Does that make sense? So it almost seems as though you were able to gratify yourself the second time. Would that be the case, or am I? Or
I could have used the same towel to clean up the first time.
Well, tell me,
that's probably what would happen. Yeah.
Is that something you normally do after sex?
Clean up.
Yeah. Use a towel to clean up.
Or take a shower or something.
Did you wipe her off with the towel?
I don't know. I mean, I would tell you if I knew. I really don't remember.
Like I said, there's nothing that's going to surprise or shock us.
Right.
Right?
No, I would tell you. I'm totally honest with you about everything.
Did you masturbate after she was dead?
No. No.
Do you remember what color the towel may have been?
No.
That you had back then?
I have no idea.
Bobby Hicks. How did you know him?
He was older, but from Milton.
Did he go to school with you?
No, he was much older than me.
How old was he back then?
Probably in his late 20s or 30 or something like that.
So you're 22 at the time. This is January of 85.
Okay.
Right? So you're August 62?
Yeah.
So you're 22. You would have turned 23 in August. So this guy's late 20s.
He's probably 27 or something like that, yeah.
Okay. What about...
And he's from Milton?
He was from Milton.
What area of Milton?
I don't... East Milton, I guess. I lived out that way.
You don't remember how you met him?
I'm not even sure if they're still around.
Okay. You don't remember how you met him?
Just through other people that I went to... the people I hung out with were a lot older than me. They were already out of school when I was graduating.
Who are those people?
Like Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
And...
how'd you know Ralph?
He lived down the street from me when I was going to school. Outer Drive.
Outer Drive? And did he go to school with you, or was he older?
Yeah, he was older, about 2 or 3 years.
So he was, if you were 23 at the time, he'd been 26?
Yeah, so around there. 26, 27. Well, yeah, that's about right. 4 or 5 years older than me.
Was he better friends with Bobby or you?
Probably me.
We
were
neighbors,
yeah.
Okay. Who else would hang out in that group? You said you met like Bobby through Ralph and other people that you hung out with?
I'm trying to think of names. Just Benji Hall. He was from there, and a guy named Paul Young. They were all the same age.
All late 20s and your younger 20s. All from Milton?
Yes, sir.
You know where any of these guys are now?
No, I've been out of touch with them for 30 years.
Did your sisters know any of these guys? Mm-hmm. You had older sisters, right? Mm-hmm. So they would have gone to school with them, presumably?
No, they didn't go. My sisters all went to school over here.
They didn't go to Milton?
No.
Well, you said the youngest one came back and graduated Milton at the end.
Well, yeah, Quincy did. But she was like 2 years there. 2 years, but she was out of town. They all went to school over here, liberal arts and Academy of Arts and Science.
If I now had to go find Bobby Hicks, where would you send me?
I wouldn't know where to begin.
Somebody that he knows that you know
if he's still living.
If he's still even alive.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, would you send me to Ralph? Do you think Ralph would have stayed in touch with them? You have no idea, huh?
I don't know.
How about Susie Lisco?
I don't know where she is.
So was this after, this happened after y'all broke up? I think you said like 83, 84-ish, y'all broke up? Yeah, and at the time this happened, you weren't dating anybody?
No.
You were living for a couple, why were you living up there for a couple months?
Up where?
With your buddy at this house.
We just a place to live.
So why'd you have to move out of the place at 12th and Serranis to start living with John for a few months?
I just wanted to move because Susie and we split up and I quit renting the place there.
Which house at 12th and Serranis?
It was like...
Was it like a bigger house?
No, it was off the corner, like the third one off of 12th Avenue on Cervantes. Across it used to be a Tom Thumb. It's a Taco Bell now.
Yeah.
Just across the street from there. Was
it on 12th or on Cervantes?
Cervantes.
So where the Publix is?
Yeah, it's on the other side of 12th
about
Avenue.
Three houses
over. There's one in the corner.
Is it a bigger house? Or
it was cut into like 3 apartments.
3 apartments. Does it say? Same house? Was your other case, the one we were talking about earlier? Was that on 12th?
No.
Okay. No. That would have been too coincidental.
But I have been to the house. I think I know which one he's talking about.
All right. So Susie and you break up, 84-ish, and then you're still there for a little bit until the lease runs out? Or did you just move out right away?
Yeah, I just moved out.
Okay. Went stay with John. He said John had a girlfriend at the time?
I don't remember John having a girlfriend.
Or a sister? Was he living there with a sister?
No, that was over on Bayou Tahar. Off of...
okay, so he was up here on Elmcrest by himself. It's his house.
Yeah, and we rented it. He was renting.
He was a rental, and you just stayed with him. But he was not at home that night at all?
No.
Not like in his room asleep?
No. No, he
I
was
assume
out.
there was 2 bedrooms? So he had one, you had one? How long after this incident did you stay there?
Maybe a month or 2. I can't. It doesn't seem like very long.
I mean, there had to be a mess.
Yeah.
A head wound bleeds. There was a mess.
Yeah.
Did you have a hard time cleaning it up, or did it leave anything? I mean, was there anything? He came back and was like, "What is this?"
No. Never mentioned it.
How did you resolve the mess, though?
I guess I just cleaned it up with towels or whatever. Just wiped up what I saw. I think it was pretty much in one area.
Where was that?
Just right there in the by the door, the living room.
But if you took her back to your bedroom,
right?
She's still bleeding back there, right? Yeah. So now we're talking maybe that floor, the bed. Did you put her on the bed?
No.
No, you just try to have sex with her on the floor?
The second time.
Was it carpeted?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so there's going to be blood, you would think, on the carpet. But it didn't leave a stain. You were able to clean all that up?
I don't know if I got it cleaned up or not. I tried to clean it.
Cool.
When you said it was when you hit her in the head, where was she? She was in the kitchen?
It was in between the kitchen and the living room.
The kitchen
countertop.
Any idea if you remember how you hit her? I know you said with the cutting board.
Yeah, just over the top of her head.
So you hit it with the wide part of it, not the end of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Was she headed for the door?
No. No, she was just standing. She was just right there.
Was she facing away from you or facing you?
She turned around. We had a little confrontation.
So she turned around.
She hit me, and it just, I snapped.
So she turned around, and then you hit her from behind.
And I realized I hit her so hard.
She went straight down?
Yeah.
When she hit you, what was it, the catalyst that made her hit you? Did you grab her or say something, or like what took place that led her to strike you?
Just the fact that we were.
I mean, I get that you wanted to have sex with her, but she wanted to leave, but you want to have sex.
Yeah.
So she needs you to facilitate.
I can't remember. We got into some a little argument or something or whatever. I don't know, just words or whatever. And then she just reacted.
Did you try to grab her or anything? That's what led her to smack you?
I might have grabbed her by her arm or something like that. I held on to her. Something like that, and then she hit me or whatever. I don't know, man. I just lost it.
Ever since then, because now you've kind of opened up this area, of your personality that you probably didn't realize that you had, that you were capable of doing something like that. I think everybody has that in them. It's what button gets pushed that brings it out. Some people it's easier, and they're more violent people, and some people it's very, very hard to find that button. That night, you found that button. Once that opened up, have you ever found yourself in a position where that came back out?
No. This was like a one time. No.
So you're trying to tell me this was more about anger and about the fight than about the sex?
No, I don't know about that. I was angry because I got hit. But
and that's what caused that reaction?
But then I just reacted real quick and realized, what have I done? And, this wasn't good. And I just didn't know what else to do. Then I was freaked out of my actions because it's not my norm. And I just...
But you hit her, realized it's bad, you strangle her, drag her back to your bedroom, and try to have sex with her again before all this fades. Do I got all that right?
Yeah.
So you don't actually know. You don't actually know at that point.
I just think it was an urge. I think it was being high on cocaine and just the.
But at that point,
the drive to.
You still don't know if she's actually dead or not. You know it's serious. You strangle her, and you know this, but you don't know if she's dead yet. Right.
Right.
Until in the process of having sex with her, you realize she could be dead.
Yeah.
Did you check her again then?
Yeah.
And you didn't. With your knowledge at that time, she was dead?
Right.
After you strangled her is when she died. So, like, you finished strangling her. She's now dead.
Right.
Okay. There's one thing that still doesn't completely match up that I need to get clarified. When someone dies, right? So, obviously, when she was found, she had an autopsy. We brought her to the medical examiner, and we examine her body, and we document all the injuries, right? Some of her injuries occurred after she died, whether that be from when you moved her or left her. Some of those injuries occurred before she died, like the head injury was before she died, right?
Right.
The neck injury begins before she's died.
Right.
Then we can tell that. It's like everything freezes. The way it bleeds is different, okay? The way someone bleeds after their death when their heart's pumping versus blood pooling in area because of broken vessels. Like a doctor can tell the difference. With her also, she's got injuries that were before her death that were on her legs, specifically around where you probably would have been taking off her pantyhose. So it looks as though there's signs of a struggle, like nail marks are going down her legs from pulling down the pantyhose. Those happened before she just died. Okay? So that means someone's trying to pull her pantyhose down forcibly before she's dead, which is before she was strangled.
Right.
Does that make sense? Okay, and those injuries are different from the ones that happened after she died, because she has those as well. Can you explain that? Because that would seem to indicate that you're trying to have sex with her before you actually strangled her, against her will.
Yeah, forceful. Yeah, we had. Yeah, that sounds right. Because I mean, I hit her. Yeah, I hit her, and then I wanted to have sex with her again, so I was trying to get her clothes off.
But she was still. She was still fighting.
Yeah, I think. Well,
I mean,
she may not be fighting a lot because she's hurt.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that the head injury wasn't enough to have killed her, right? Okay, so with head injuries, they bleed a lot, they hurt, but so when someone goes like completely unconscious, what we expect to find is some sort of minor or major brain injury, right? You hit them in the head, that impact causes trauma to the brain, and something that's called a concussion. So we knock somebody out, they're probably going to have a concussion, right? But you've hit that switch that caused that trauma. We see external trauma, but it doesn't transfer into her brain, right? So it's very possible that she's into some degree of consciousness before she's strangled. But I know that those leg injuries, when you're pulling down her pantyhose, I know she's alive then.
Okay. And that makes sense that she was still struggling to some degree, because if you're just pulling them off, she's not going to have those injuries.
Right.
And that's why we're trying to make sure that everything fits the evidence. But it's got to be, I want to be very careful that I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Right.
If I'm wrong, tell me.
We're theorizing with you.
I can be honest with you and tell you I do not remember everything, but if that's the evidence that you have.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
But again, you're the one who was there. And our job isn't to put words in your mouth, and we don't want to, right? We absolutely don't want to put words in your mouth. We want you to explain. Just that's something that doesn't make sense to me.
We were still fighting and stuff, and then I guess then I just ended it.
So, hitting the head.
But
she's dazed. She's affected by the head.
Probably taking her
pantyhose off
again, and she's still struggling a little bit. And then
you're having sex with her, but she's still struggling.
Right, and
so then you just
I ended it, and then I was.
I'm still struggling a little bit with that because the injury. You're right, strangulation, but the injury isn't what you're. It doesn't match what you're saying. The hand, like I talked about before.
Hands. I could have had a belt or something. I don't really remember. I just all I remembered is that I had strangled her.
So you're like on top of her though.
Yes.
When this is doing, so you're like looking at her in the face.
Or on her side, yeah.
She's on her side.
Yeah, I think so.
So you're in front of her and she's on her side, or you're behind her while she's on her side.
I'm on her
top
side.
of her. You're on top of her.
Right.
She's on her side.
I think I'm kneeling down on the ground. Yeah, kneeling on the.
So you're kneeling over her now at this point. Because you've gotten this position because she's struggling.
Right.
You've tried to have sex. You're trying to have sex with her. She's still struggling, which is still making you angry. That's what's continuing this anger. So then you grab something.
I guess I had something if it wasn't my hands.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I'm trying to resolve of what it could be, because injuries don't quite match hands.
Right.
I'm not saying that didn't happen.
No, it could have been a belt or something.
Where that belt come?
Would have been yours
or mine or something. Yeah.
And you're sure that when she's fighting, you didn't put anything in her mouth? I mean, that would make sense. You don't want your neighbors or anybody else to hear what's happening.
Yeah.
She wasn't screaming.
I don't recall. I don't remember.
Okay.
But it's if she's got dog hair in her mouth and it was on the towel, obviously, I guess I did it.
Well, I mean, there's other options, and that's why we're trying to. We understand your situation. This is something you've not been involved in. A lot of things happen in your own coke. So we're trying to tell you what the evidence is and running some different scenarios and see if it jogs your memory.
Right.
We're again not trying to tell you what happened. We're trying to give you scenarios so that it'll help you remember what happened. It could have been from the floor. If you had at some point turned her over and now she's face down on the floor, the dog hair could have got her mouth that way.
Right.
So,
and I'm sure I think she was down at one time. I mean,
during the struggle?
Yeah.
So were you behind her while she was face down during part of this, while you were trying to have sex with her during the struggle?
I'm thinking that she was always on her back and on her side.
Okay.
You smoke, obviously. Right.
Not a lot.
Were you smoking back then?
I probably was, off and on.
What brand of cigarettes did you smoke back then?
Gosh, I don't know.
Do you ever smoke Cools?
Never smoked menthols.
One other thing. So when we're talking about when you left her on the side of the road, understandably, you make it sound very almost gentle. You know, you open the car door, you pick her up, and you lay her down on the ground.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I opened up the car and pulled her out.
Did she hit the ground? Because so there's some injuries that are indicative.
Well, I'm sure I dragged her out of the truck.
It looked like there's injuries on her arm where like got drug across the asphalt. No, you know, like when you're running in the street. Remember, you're a kid and you're running on the street and you fall, and so you get that scrape.
I was off. I wasn't on the. I was off the curb.
So I got a big scrape on her forearm. So it really looks like it was somebody rubbed against asphalt.
I didn't drag her anywhere. I mean, I took her out of the truck.
It can even be like a fall.
Yeah.
You know, where her arm would have scraped, or when you left, is there a possibility you ran her over?
No. No, she was off. I had her, and it was.
When you were taking her to the truck from the house, how'd you get her out there?
I carried her.
Didn't drop her? No. Didn't fall? And you pulled her out, she fell on the ground, but didn't drag her.
I didn't drag her. No, sir.
Okay.
Did you stand on her arm?
Not that I recall of, no.
There's just some strange injuries on her that scrape. There's a large bruise on the inside of her forearm. Could have been during the struggle while you're trying to have sex with her. That
Might have been. Grabbed her or something, or squeezed
grabbed her arm or something. And it's weird because it's got a straight line. I mean...
Did you close it into something, or...
Now, she's still wearing her dress during that, right? Because she got dressed again.
Right.
You hit her in the head. Now you're trying to... You pull up her dress. You're pulling down her pantyhose. You're trying to have sex with her. She's fighting as best she could with the head injury. So it could be that you were holding down an arm.
Very well. Could be. I don't...
That's the dress. That's her dress sleeve.
Did you use like her dress sleeve as a handle or tighten it down or anything?
Not that I recall.
So you can't think of anything that would have caused all that to her arm?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Well, so one other thing that complicates this a little bit. All right. Remember he mentioned earlier a phone call?
Right.
So there was another young lady that was killed 2 months after. 3 months after.
To the vet.
Tanya. Her body was left similarly on the road on the west side of Pensacola, not too far from where you live right now.
No, I don't know anything about that. From Cerny Road, from where I'm at now?
It's not on Cerny, but it's not too far away from there. And you didn't live over there at the time.
No.
It's just coincidental that now you do live over in that area.
No.
And like I said, there's a phone call that was trying to take credit for some of these incidents. And we wouldn't be doing our job, right?
Right.
If you think if you're in our position and the officers back then, there's this murder. 3 months later, there's another murder.
Right.
Young lady about the same age, looks very similar to Tanya.
Yeah.
I have
no involvement with that.
Similar manner?
No, sir.
Similar lifestyle.
No.
Also found semen on her?
This young lady here, which I mean, if you were honest, you don't even recognize pictures of Tanya.
No. I don't know her.
The thing is this, is that in this case also,
yes, sir.
There was DNA recovered. So what happens is with our case, your DNA sat in a database for years until we found a match.
Right.
We then submit your sample and it matched. This other investigator who this case belongs to, now he has your name. He has the same sort of unknown DNA in this database. Been waiting for somebody to compare it to. He's going to compare you.
Okay.
Okay, so just be prepared for that.
That's fine.
If it comes back and it's a match, right? We accept the possibility that people get themselves in these situations over and over. We're not trying to indict your person, right? There's a trigger that caused this to happen. It doesn't mean that it couldn't happen another time, right?
Right.
But your ability to explain that one, if it comes back as a match, really undoes a lot of the good that you've done here today.
Right.
And impairs your ability to explain that one if, in fact, that was you.
I understand.
I don't know the answer to that question yet.
Okay.
But that's going to come out here in the next couple of days.
Okay.
So if you were involved in that, the worst thing I want to have happen is for you to say no to that one and it was you. And then you're explaining this one and we understand the triggers because it kind of throws out some of our story as far as you not being that monster, right? I accept the humans err. Sometimes they err in the same way. So I just need you to understand that if you are involved in anything else, because it's not just going to be limited to that case, you're known now.
Right.
Right?
I mean, part of our job is now not only going through our old cases, going through the Sheriff's Department old cases, we're going to Missouri, right? We'll be contacting every agency in the areas that you lived there. Tracking your movements.
Nothing is clean. There's nothing there besides what I've told you of my
you're going
exposure.
And you're going into a national database now.
Okay.
Okay, so that you're being able to compare to unknowns from every case that's in that system. Yeah. And if there's going to be something else that pops up, your best bet's to get ahead of the game now and start controlling that narrative now. Right. And start narrowing that focus and saving some people some time instead of this broad search. They can focus down to where we need to go.
Right.
So if there's anything else in Missouri or any other place that you've lived or passed through?
There's not. Just that one night.
Again, it's people are going to want to put you in a box to classify you, right?
I understand. I should be.
And again, like I said,
it's not good.
I just don't want someone to classify you as something that you're not if there's a chance that there's some other case.
Right.
Right? This is the time when you get to explain that opportunity. I mean, you may be able to talk to another detective down the road. He may go, hey, this is you. I've got you here. Same thing again. And you go, oh, yeah, listen to my story. There was this trigger event that happened. They're going to know that we've already given you the chance to explain it here. And so your ability to explain it with anybody going, I understand and believe that, it's gone.
Right.
Because what happened here tonight, Dan, is you held on to it for a while, right? We had to convince you through the evidence, right, that you had to. You had no other option now, but you had to tell the truth. And you don't want to go through that again every time, right? So the next time it comes up, you're going, oh, no, until you get presented with enough evidence. That takes away from some of your sincerity. Because then what it looks like in the way we presented is, no, you weren't trying to get this off your chest because you felt guilty for 35 years. Because you wouldn't say it until it was self-preservation. Okay, at this point, you finally got convinced you're done, so now you got to start trying to save yourself. It's not about being remorseful. It's not about making amends. It's not about letting a son that grew up without his mom know what actually happened. It's about you again and saving yourself, right? And so if more cases come up, this image that we can do right now where it is remorseful, it is getting off your chest, you feel better, right? That can be helpful to you, but if there's another case, it's no longer that.
Right.
It is only about taking care of yourself. And that doesn't paint that good picture that you want. So, your opportunity now. We know where you've been.
Right.
Not every place, I'm sure, because you travel with work and stuff.
Yeah, I've never.
But it's going to go everywhere.
This is all I've done.
You're confident in that?
Confident in that, yeah.
Because you understand it's going to be bad for you if another case comes up with your DNA, especially this Patricia Stevens case that we're asking you directly about, because it is.
I don't.
It's similar, same time frame.
No.
And again, there's DNA there, so it's going to be, when it gets compared, if it comes back to you, there is
it's not mine.
No argument that it's not you. Right. So if it comes back to you.
I'm being totally honest with you.
So if it comes back that it's you, and we show back up, you're going to give it up right away then. Because if we show back up, we walk up to you and say, we're here talking about Patricia Stevens, the only reason we're going to do that is because we already got you there.
Right.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
We're not going to have to play this long game again. Or a Missouri case.
No, there's nothing in Missouri.
Or South.
The only thing in Missouri was...
Well, heck, now you were down in Naples. You were down there, 3 months after Tanya, so we got to look down there.
Yeah. Nothing in Naples.
If you're traveling for work.
This was a one-time major faux pas. Wrong.
I want to believe you, right?
I want you to believe me, too.
Because that's best for you. But
I've had remorse forever. And it's just... it's horrible.
It was. Imagine Morgan growing up without his mom. How would that have affected his life?
That'd probably mess him up. I don't know.
Because her 18-month-old...
He's pretty strong. I know. I think about it all the time.
Without his mom.
I know.
And I'll let you know that I've already called him.
You've called who?
Her son.
Her son. Thank you.
And he broke down in a big way.
I'm sure.
Because he missed out on a lot.
He missed out on everything. She missed out on everything.
Because you had an angry moment. Yeah. And it's good that you're taking responsibility now.
Yeah.
But you worry me. What I worry about is the other cases.
I don't have any other cases.
That's the biggest thing I worry about.
Yeah.
That's fine. We're going to do our job. Okay. We're going to check. And quite honestly, you're just making our job easier.
Yeah.
By allowing us to go focus to some places, not have to go hunt nationwide.
Right. Oh, I would tell you. There's nothing.
We've heard that before. But what I want is this, is you're going to be doing a lot of thinking and maybe some relaxing that this is now off your chest to a degree. If there is, before this gets too far, please reach out to us.
I would. I would tell you. I would tell you.
So a couple things are going to happen. All right? Yeah? Unless you got something else, Sergeant Harnett?
No.
Okay. So we also have a search warrant for what's called a buccal swab. So a crime scene, supervisors would come in here, it's just Q-tips in your mouth, right? Mm-hmm. We have your DNA off the cigarette. This is a procedural thing to get the clean sample on that. So we have a search warrant signed by a judge that we'll read to you here in a minute that authorizes us to take that DNA from your cheeks. And then she's going to roll your fingerprints. Okay. And she's going to get a major case, which means she's going to do all the fingerprints and all hands. That's also in the search warrant that we're allowed to collect that from you. It'll also be collected later on at the jail. After she's done with that, we'll be taking you to Escambia County Jail, where you'll be booked. Okay? Your truck. We brought it here. Who would you like to give that to?
My sister.
Nan?
Yes.
She's here now?
She's in Pensacola, yeah.
Okay. Does she live down the road from you?
Yes, she does. Yeah, she's got a house there, and she's in Annapolis. I'd like for her to take that home to my house.
Okay. What's the phone number for her?
I'd have to look at my phone.
Oh, you know that. Once you get to the jail and once you get booked, it is when they allow you a phone call?
I'll have to remember I'm not going to have my cell phone. I don't remember any phone.
Do you want us to get some phone numbers out for you? We can write them down on a piece of paper.
Yes, please.
Because they're going to take your phone from you there.
Yeah, I'd like to call my son.
how are you going to explain that to him? I don't know. Which, everything I've told you tonight is true. Yeah. I think having as much of the story as you can remember allows your son to process and deal with it. Right. You know, he can't do that if you're lying and saying you don't know anything, and we've got all this evidence showing it's you. And he's going to look at it. He's a smart kid, I'm sure.
Very smart.
And so he's going to look at it and say, well, God, Dad, you did do it, but you're looking at me in the face and telling me you don't know anything. So I think this allows you.
Thank you.
What's your PIN number?
Or is it a...
It's just scrolls on. I don't have glasses here.
So we have a PIN number.
No. I sure would like to call her, my sister Nana. Would you guys let me call her and just tell her what's going on? It's just, I mean, she's a good girl. She calls me all the time. We talk every day. She's the only one I have.
That's fine.
Go ahead and call her.
Just make sure you write down her numbers
let me give you her
yourself.
number. I will.
Yeah, because I'll have to be in touch with her.
Because she'll call. She can call Morgan.
I'm going to have to make arrangements for the truck. So the phone...
410...
The home phone number is for good too? The 432
It's not there anymore. She doesn't have that.
So just the cell phone number?
Yes, sir.
You can tell her that somebody from police department will be calling her to make arrangements for the truck.
Thank you.
Anything else you need to know?
Hey, Nan. I need you to listen to me about this. I did something 35 years ago. I'm down at the Pensacola Police Department, and I committed homicide, and I'm getting ready to go down to the county and get booked in there, but they're going to contact you, and you just come down here. My truck's down here, and I guess my personal belongings. Is she gonna get my wallet and all that too?
If you want her to have your wallet,
I want her to have that, my cell phone and everything. I'll just leave it all.
Okay. I'll just send with your license.
In front of the two detectives. They got my DNA, and they've been following me for a while, for a couple of months, I guess. And I'm sorry for this to happen, but it's I've already told them. They know. I mean, it's something that happened a long time ago, 35 years ago, and I'm accepting responsibility for it. I mean, it's only fair. I should have come clean about this a long time ago. But I need you to. You have Morgan's phone number?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I'm so sorry. Because, I mean...
Honey, don't apologize. You just hold on. Hold on.
You just... But you just... I need you to get in touch with Morgan because I want, him to come down and... I mean, he needs to just get all my stuff at the house that's his and stuff. I mean, it's all his.
You can get bailed out, dear.
Yeah.
You can get bailed out, sweetheart.
I can't bail. They won't let me bail myself out, I don't think. But I need to. We'll talk about it.
I'll explain that process real quick.
Well, hang on 1 second.
So the warrant has no bond on it. Tomorrow, when you get first appearance, a judge will review that and can make a decision whether he's going to give you a bond or keep it that way, and then you'll have opportunities to get bond.
There'll be no bond. There won't be.
I'm letting you know what the process
pretty sure.
is.
I mean, this is something that's been on. I've been living with for 35 years. And it's not good. I love you. So, but yeah, I need you to get in touch with Morgan for me. Because, I'm probably never going to see him again. But anyway.
We'll be contacting her tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Well, look, the detective's going to contact you tomorrow, so you can come down here and get my truck and just take it home. And you've got access to my house. I mean, I think you can get it. Well, you'll have my keys. No, you'll have my keys with my truck. So, and you can. Yeah, I don't. It just, yeah, it's better than them finding out on the news.
She might want to be the one who tells Morgan.
Yeah, that's true. You can call. You got Carol's number?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I love you, Nan, and but I mean, Morgan, he knows, all the thing. He know. I don't have my will and stuff like that, but I've left everything to him. I mean, I know he knows that. Well, Nan, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. Okay, so it's the same thing as death, and for what I've done, I would rather not even have life. I do. I'm sorry. These detectives were nice enough to let me call you. But you gotta take care. You gotta take care of all this for me.
I will, dear. I will.
I love you. Bye. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Do that because I really believe you.
I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I appreciate it.
I think a lot of people would argue that you don't deserve it, but like we told you from the beginning, we don't judge. We're not judging.
You're a human being.
I didn't feel like it then. It's like, it's just...
Okay.
Finally got everything.
You need anything?
I'm good.
We're gonna step back out.
Okay. Well, you give, I can't talk to him. She'll just...
Dan, here's my card.
Yes, sir.
If you decide that there's something you need to share with us, just let anybody at the jail know.
I will.
Go, hey, this is somebody I need to talk to, and they'll reach out to us.
I will.
Okay, we'll come out again. I understand here your story about everything else, and even about this. If there's something that you need to tell us, please reach out to us.
I will.
Okay?
I will.
I'm going to step out again. We're going to arrange for the buccal swab and then the fingerprints, and then we'll start the process of moving out to the jail.
Okay.
You have any questions for me?
My sister's number.
Okay. Do you need to take that to the jail with you?
I would love to.
Take it.
Put in your picture with that, and they'll take it from you at the jail and put it in your property.
My sister will get my phone, my keys, and my wallet.
Yes, sir. Okay. And then she'll have the truck. If I can arrange for that tonight, I might, just so that it's done.
Well, she's not working, so tomorrow will be fine.
She mentioned something about filing news. It'll be on the news.
Oh, I know.
Probably tomorrow. So I'm upfront with you. Things like this don't stay quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for us before we walk out right now?
I would like, man. Should I call my employer? Or just one of the guys that I work with?
Do you want to? Or do you want us to try to explain to him tomorrow morning while you're not at work? Or
no, I'd like to let him know. Can I just call one person, one Weedmore? It won't take me 5 minutes. He'll
just real quick.
One more.
Real quick.
Just so he's prepared for you not to do work tomorrow.
Thank you. Yes. I really appreciate it.
And your wallet and your keys, I have them, and you want these to go to your sister, correct?
Yes.
And just take your ID with you.
To the jail.
Yeah.
Hey, Warren. Hey, listen, I've got to tell you something. I got arrested. And, yeah, it's something that goes back 35 years ago. But it's a homicide case, something that I did really, really bad 35 years ago. And I just want to let you know, I love you guys, and I'm sorry, but I just, I just want to let you know that I'm not going to be at work tomorrow for sure. And no, I'm not going anywhere, dude, but to jail. I'll be going to prison. It's something that I did. You'll hear about it on the news. I'm sure tomorrow it'll be on the news. But I just wanted to tell you that you've been a good friend and a brother, and I love you. And just all my stuff that's in my shop, I just want you to have access to it, okay? Yeah, I'm sure maybe later on or whatever, but I'm sure Morgan will get in touch with you or something too when he finds out. But I'm sorry. No, there's nothing anybody can do. It's something I just did to myself a long time ago. Okay, and the detectives were nice enough to let me call you. I'm getting ready to go down to the county and get booked in and stuff, and there's no bail or anything. So, all right. You just don't say anything, man. I just wanted to tell you that when I left work today, they pulled me over, and I came in here for questioning, and I've just been leveling with them on things. So, but anyway, just letting you know, I'm not gonna be back. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine. Or you can get in touch with Nan or something. I'll tell Nan when I see her, or whatever. But you just help yourself to my tools and stuff, okay? No, Nan's gonna take care of everything. Just tell Matt I appreciate it, and I'm sorry. Okay. All right, man. I love you, brother. All right. Bye-bye.
People getting some surprise phone calls. Who was that?
Warren Moyer.
Do you think there's going to be a reason for I'll have to talk to him after this?
No.
Or? Okay.
No.
I don't remember. All right.
One of my best friends. Thank
She
you
will
very
get your
much.
phone, your wallet, your keys. You've got your ID and her phone number in case you need it.
Write this. Borrow your pen for 1 second. Thanks, sir.
Somebody coming? Said somebody come and stand by with you?